Good afternoon. It is August 4th, 2025. You're listening to a little of column A, little of column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? Football is getting closer and closer every day. We had the Hall of Fame game. We are getting videos from camp. And we have a story coming out of Baltimore, a real feel-good story. Some of the Ravens, they got a new facility. They're in the pool. They're having a good time. And they're kind of joking, saying, hey, 1 in 3 Baltimore Ravens cannot swim. Well, who's from Baltimore might be able to help out with that? They reach out to Michael Phelps, say, hey, we could use a lesson. Michael Phelps, sees it on Instagram, says, absolutely, guys, happy to help. So, see if it actually happens. It's more of a fun, internet story. But do you think this would be too much pressure for you to, rather than just get regular lessons, you get lessons from the greatest swimmer of all time?
They're athletes. I think they're capable of this. I think they're capable of learning how to swim faster than the average person. Don't you think they're better off?
I don't know.
It's a weird
I
skill.
You're saying. They're definitely athletes. It'd almost be like ice skating, where it's an athletic movement, but it's totally different from, I'm going to call it, normal land-based, non ice related.
I think there's a bit of a fear aspect of discomfort that you don't really have to compare to anything else. But once you get over that fear, I think you're very athletically capable and will have so many advantages of endurance and strength that I don't think the average person will have. I mean, that's just a thought of all this. I mean, where do the swimming accidents go wrong? Is it because somebody doesn't know how to swim, or somebody who does know how to swim got them into a situation that they're not actually capable of? Like, I think it's overconfidence that's the bigger problem in swimming, not the people that don't know how to swim. The people that don't know how to swim stay out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, for fear-based reasons.
Yeah,
it's a good fear to have, but it's a good skill to learn as well.
I think it's a good skill to learn.
It's a fun skill.
I do think though that you reach a certain age where, this just isn't going to happen. Like, I can't learn how to swim now.
I think it gets harder and harder, like with a lot of these, sports, skiing, ice skating, skateboarding. It's just when you're younger, like failing, you don't even realize it. Whereas an adult, there's more embarrassment that goes along with it. But if you had Michael Phelps to come help you, it doesn't get any more to the tippy top than that.
Well, we kind of got two different types of swimming here. I mean, are you mostly referencing, you think, pool sort of workouts, or the oceans? That's a different animal over there. We got waves, you got current, you got pull. I mean, even whitewater rafting's got current, things like that. Like we're not talking about that kind of stuff, right? We're starting
in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Starting in the pool. Yeah. Level 1. Let's just start easy. Shallow end.
Yeah. Sure that pool is clean. That's what I would say. All right. Have we? Is that the end of summer topics? Is it over? Do you want to do more?
I think there's still going to be some that kind of sprinkle in, but it won't be the whole podcast as summer topics because, like I said, Hall of Fame game happened. Really going to kick into full effect starting on Thursday of this week.
Zach, it's time to do the football previews.
Yes,
we made it. It's August. Got a couple weeks for the season
starts. Hard Knocks starts this week. It's all started.
Do you even care about Hard Knocks still? Well, who's the team even? I'm tuned into all the NFL stuff, and I have no idea who the team even is.
It's the Buffalo Bills this year.
Is it really? That's a team I should have interest in, and I don't. Why?
See, this is where it is, and this happens every year, and it's almost like the Hall of Fame game, where it's like, this isn't real football, but you at least are going to start watching the beginning part, and there's certain beats that it hits. It's the narrator's voice hits in a certain way. They always have the opening is a field getting prepared, and it'll have the water sprinkler going, has that water sprinkler noise. And after a little bit, it's like, okay, this is just kind of sort of football. It's just more like we're hitting a milestone. It's more the milestone than the actual event now.
It's a silly tradition that you will not. This is a habit now to you that this benefits nobody. Who is this for?
Are there any traditions that aren't silly? I mean, that's kind of the whole thing with traditions. They're all like kind of a little silly.
They are silly, but why are you embracing such a silly tradition?
Because it's reality football.
It's your tradition.
Especially with the Bills, you're going to have Josh Allen. He's very famous. You got to see, peek behind the curtain there. And there's some other, some other guys on the team you're going to just discover. And, you get some, fan favorites. And it's an hour. It's an hour a week of entertainment.
I do think Keon Coleman's got a chance of being like the next Barkley. I think he's good on TV. He's a fun guy. I could be intrigued just by the addition of him in this behind the scenes. The thing is, you don't get what you want out of everyone. You get a bunch of people you don't know and don't matter and aren't even entertaining. Like they still got to make like this every week, and I think that's just very stretched and played out at this point. But I get it.
I think that it's probably outlived what's needed. I mean, when it started a long time ago. You didn't have like all day long. I could just go on X and I could see videos from every single training camp. There are dedicated people all across, like for each team, multiple dedicated people, multiple podcasts for each team. So I can get all the information, but wasn't that long ago you weren't able to get that information. So like this is where it was. So it probably outlasted its usefulness. You know, they've tweaked it and maybe they need to tweak it again. But I think it's still worth doing.
I mean, they're not going to stop doing it, right? Like this doesn't come to an end. I could say it's terrible all I want. They're not going to stop. NFL's not turning this down. How soon before we repeat on the team though? Like we got to get through everyone.
No, they've repeated teams.
They've repeated teams. All right. See, I'm really not.
They haven't even got to all the teams because there's rules in place based on when you make the playoffs and if you have a new coach, you're able to decline. Like there's a whole set of rules for it.
So I started doing all the football research. Did you notice a pattern of, I don't know, a lot of new coaches across the league? Like, I feel like almost every other team, it was like, oh, yeah, there's something new going on with just the coaching situation.
I think it is similar with the with the NBA. If you start to look into that, of realizing, wow, like no one's really been around for very long. You especially with Pop being gone, it like post COVID, it's like most of the teams have a different coach or multiple new coaches, and I think it's as the players are getting paid more and more. You can't just get rid of them as easily. It's definitely easier in football, but these owners, they want something to happen immediately, and the coach is the first thing to go. And I don't know if it really leads to success, but that button, it just gets hit faster and faster these days.
I think we need to recalculate the coach firing. I think we've overcorrected this too much, where it's a just played out hand, and I don't know how effective it is. I mean, I'm picking other teams based entirely on, well, at least they still have the same guy as last year. I don't know what we're getting out of the new guy. I don't know what Schottenheimer's going to do for Dallas. Like, I know he's involved in the offensive coordinator of previous years, but like this is, what if he's Josh McDaniels? I mean, there's tons of scenarios in that I'm now feeling that anyone who brought back whoever they had last year or any sort of thing should actually feel like they have an advantage. Is that kind of how you went with your rankings? Because I kind of punished some teams that it was like, I don't feel good about this, or just a bad vibe test.
Not really.
No, not really. All right.
I mean, it's a portion of it. So when you have a new guy coming in, and I suppose when you say new guy, do you mean brand new head coach, never had coach before, or just mean a new coach, or both?
Both. I mean, I just felt like there was a lot of transitions going on with teams right now where it's like, what did they do last year? It's like, all right, that's right. They had that coach. And it's like, oh, that didn't go so well. So they just got rid of that guy and they brought this other guy in who either hasn't done it before or didn't do as great a job at the last place because he's obviously available. Like there's just, I think there's too much of that going on. It doesn't make sense to me, but let's get started with some of our predictions. And I guess we're going to start with the NFC East. Who do you got finishing up top here?
NFC East, this was an easy one. Got the Eagles at the top.
Yeah, I think so. Could you make any argument for anyone else? I think you could for the Commanders, but I think there's a bit of a sophomore slump that is almost guaranteed to some degree here. I don't love the McLaurin controversy, is that even actually controversy, or is this just a guy that wants more money?
I think because, and we'll get to Michael Parsons, down the way here. That situation seems much more adversarial, where this one seems much more of a contract negotiation. Jaden's been at practice, hasn't been practicing, but he's been there, and it has been it's elevated to he's requested a trade. This really seems like, hey, I don't really want to be working out. He's not like the youngest guy, so he'll be fine. Doesn't need to go through all the stuff. And I think this is more of, I'm negotiating for more money. I'm willing to take it to the furthest extent here, but I think that they're gonna figure something out. But I think this is pure negotiating tactics.
All right. Well, if it's not really a football distraction, what is the case that the Commanders could actually maybe overtake the Eagles and win this division? Is it just Super Bowl hangover? Because even all of the guys, and Debo's kind of a big addition for the Commanders, but I just look at everything and it's like, I still like AJ Brown, I like Devontae Smith, I like Barkley. I mean, who's telling me that Saquon's gonna have a bad season coming up after this? I think if anything, this Eagle team could potentially be better than they were last year. And the more I look down the division, it's like a lot is going on Jaden Daniels. A lot of it's going to go on their shoulders. And I just think, as you already mentioned, that Philly's kind of just a safer bet. But this is also, I think, just a superior team. I don't like anyone else's chance in this at all. But what do you like about Philly the most?
I A lot of things that you just mentioned. Same coach, same quarterback, same running back, same wide receiver, all of the same skill position guys. They're building on this. And they 2 years ago, they were having a super successful season, and then like something happened and it just kind of like fell off the rails. But I think that they're still very much like this has been sustained success. And I think that they'll be able to continue this. I think that there could be a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, but like not a really bad one, but just enough where, maybe they're not just as locked in, as they might have been before, where it's like, we got one. It seems like all the right sort of answers to the interview questions are coming out where Jalen's talking about how, like, I'm not even sure if he put his championship ring on. It's like, he's just like, I'm all about this year, which as a person, and, Scotty Scheffler, the golfer, was talking about this recently about, hey, trying to just be a, regular person and versus, the athlete. But if you're an Eagles fan, you got to love that Jalen's like, nope, last year's behind us. We're looking for this year. We're looking for another one. And I think sometimes as an elite athlete, you kind of have to have that like maniac sort of focus.
Do you think this is the year that we'll actually maybe respect Hurts a little bit? Because I still feel like he's being a little disrespected, at least in any sort of rankings and any sort of fantasy value. I don't know what he has to do to prove. Like, what does he have left to prove? He's got to win the division again, another Super Bowl, one more appearance. I mean, he's not mentioned in any of the respect of some of these other quarterbacks. At least I don't think he is. And the weird part is I almost kind of agree to it, but I don't have as much of an argument against it anymore. And I wonder, what's the argument going to be this year? Like, what are we going to rag on him this year for?
I think that it's just, we mentioned it. He's got all of the weapons. Like, all of the guys on his team are going to be going high in fantasy. So for sure, he helps with that. But I think you have other teams where the quarterback's the one that makes these other guys that maybe you haven't heard of so much. So I think it's just that balance. And I think that the Eagles, especially being in the NFC East, they're on TV a lot. They're talked about a lot. And you got to like nitpick somewhere. And Saquon was just amazing last year. So it falls on the quarterback. And you could just, I think it's just more talking heads. And I don't think he cares. I don't think the team cares.
All right. Their over-under is 11.5. What'd you go with on that?
I'm going to go under.
You're going under?
Under, yeah.
Wow. All right. So this is going to be a tighter division than you think. Because you still have the Eagles winning it, but the winner of this division is not going to be winning 11.5
I think
games?
It's going to be close. I think it's going to be close. But like you mentioned, Super Bowl hangover. They're going to have one of the tougher schedules since they, were so good last year. So it's just going to be a lot of primetime games, a lot of, traveling. And I think it'll be close. But yeah, I'm going to go with the under.
The Super Bowl hangover is a weird one where it's like the Madden curse. Where there's a weird consistency in it, and I understand it all. But I think the sophomore slump is more of a promising pattern to me. And the idea that the Commanders, who had no expectations at all last year, suddenly have expectations, and they're just miraculously going to live up to it. I think that's a safer under. They're at 9.5, and I just don't see how the Eagles aren't going to be over this 11.5, even if it is a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover based on what I think the rest of the division's got left. I mean, we'll get to Dallas and
12,
Giants, but
12 wins is a lot.
Yeah, but this division's bad. They get to play these other teams. They get to play Dallas twice.
True.
All right. What was the biggest addition for Philly this offseason?
They didn't really add too much. Biggest addition would be A.J. Dillon, and biggest subtraction is Kenneth Gainwell.
All right, now the fun part. What do we got for fantasy in here? Who are we drafting? Who are we not drafting? Not going to lie, I pretty much circled everybody. I mean, who do you not want is really what I would say.
So for the Eagles, I said that Saquon Barkley, overrated. It's coming in at number 4. At number 4. They just won the Super Bowl. So I think that you're not going to push your star running back as hard because it's like, hey, we got one, in the bank. I mean, he's still going to be awesome. But I think that at number 4, that high draft first round pick, I don't think he's going to live up to that.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, that changes some things. I just think they're going to be such a consistent team in winning these games, and they're going to have leads that he's going to get a ton of workload just by them winning. I don't know if they're. It's again reflecting back into Hurts. It's like if you think they're just going to suddenly be an aerial team, it's tricky. All right, anything else from this team? You got anything else for Philly?
No, I think that's I think that's good.
All right, I had Washington at 2. I'm assuming you still did. Like you said, this is going
Yep.
to be a tight division here, though. But their over under is 9.5. If you got Philly under, I assume you have them over.
No, under as well.
Oh boy! All right, we're playing the unders today. All right, are you trying to make money on all this? What are we doing? I didn't even see the split on these. All right, so
it was a little all over the place. It was hard to kind of lock that down, but it was at least on the number, so it's not exactly -110 either direction. But I think Jaden had an amazing year last year. I think the Commanders in general came out of nowhere, no expectations. But this year they have expectations. Last year they had one of the easiest schedules. So just as that adjusts, I don't think that they're going to be nearly as good. Once you change those expectations, it's a whole different ballgame. And the questions that are going to get asked, I think the pressure is going to get ramped up much higher than it was last year. Where last year was, hey, let's go out there, let's see what happens. This year it's going to be different. It's going to be different.
So they add Debo, who I do like, but this is a player that I don't think you could trust, not only fantasy wise, but for the Washington Commanders, who are going to need this sort of player. I mean, we both feel
Why don't
like
think you can trust him?
I don't think he's stay healthy, and even that I think there's weird. Like he's so versatile, but I don't really know what's the best way to use him.
What is the injury concern with him?
I think doesn't he feel like it's always got a hamstring? I feel like he's in and out of games often.
I mean, last year he got pneumonia.
I doubt
that just seems pretty like out of right field, and it's not going to happen again.
Right, so
I wasn't sure if you were talking about the injury past or the reports that he's coming in and he's looking chunky.
No, past. I don't know anything about him coming in.
I just wanted to touch on it as I was pretty clear on it last week about Luka, where the only thing I care less about for how an athlete looks for basketball players is how a football player works. It's like, like he's going to get hit and he's going to be in DC. Like it's going to be cold. Just having 3% body fat and just looking absolutely shredded does not translate to, hey, I'm just going to run guys over and I am just going to be awesome at football. Like it's not how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the under on this team, and if you're asking for fantasy advice, I have interest in Terry McLaurin if he ends up locking it in and staying there. I have no interest in Debo. I don't think this is going to work. I think that they got out of the business just in time for the Niners, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's plenty of games left for this guy, but it does feel like a lot of the stuff was a weird gimmick talent. Is that being too critical? Like, you think this is just easy to duplicate somewhere else?
I think that I don't know if they're going to use him the same way where he did have some time at running back. I think that kind of got like blown out of proportion a little bit, but I think it's more of a diversity of skill set, not a gimmick.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And you take out the coordinator, used to be the Kansas City guy in Washington, I believe, right? So he had Tyreek Hill doing a bunch of stuff on the sideline, and maybe Debo will be doing that kind of stuff, running back and forth, always in motion. It's certainly harder to defend when you got something like that. I can't really see it, and maybe I'm a couple weeks out. Maybe I'll see him move a little bit better, and maybe Jaden will be very happy to have this new addition to all this. But I just hope for Jaden that he's able to hopefully have a healthy Debo and McLaurin actually comes back. I don't want his second year to be so Debo didn't work out and McLaurin's out, and it's all you now, man. Just go out there. Like I was like last year that it felt like they put some decent pieces around him. I thought he had some experienced running backs, and everything's just getting a year added to it, so it should be a little bit easier, but the sophomore slump is going to be real. All right, so you got them 2. Who do you got going 3 then? Or who'd you have for fantasy? Sorry, I didn't ask you for that.
My fantasy was, and we've kind of really already kind of hammered this, but I have Jaden. He's coming in at 30. All of these re-rankings are just the default ESPN PPR rankings, but he's coming in at number 30. I mean, he runs. I mean, he played well last year, but that is right behind Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Like 28, 29, 30. And that just seems way too high to me. I think those guys have done this for a while, and there's some consistency where I think Jaden's, ceiling could be up there. But if you're taking that risk, I think that's too high. So I'm going to put him at overrated.
Yeah, I see I mean, I see that it would be fun to have him. So I'm not going to be mad if you take him there. I just think there's better value to be getting for quarterbacks, especially later. It's hard. It's hard to be all in on a quarterback early unless they're, can be competing for MVPs. Do you think he'll be competing for an MVP?
No.
Do you think anyone on Philly will be?
It's tough because it's been a quarterback award for a long time now. But Saquon right in the mix.
Under
But
11 and a
we'll
half
see if
wins,
that changes.
MVP candidate? I don't know. I think you got to hit the over for that one. All right. Who you got going 3 in the NFC East?
Cowboys.
Why? Why not the Giants?
Because the Giants are bad.
Are you sure? I know
You
they
were
got the
talking
toughest schedule. I get it. But why everything you think is going to happen in Dallas is going to happen. It's all going to blow up. It's a matter of time. Do you not see the ticking time bomb over there? The Giants are at least bringing back everything they got last year. They got Neighbors and 3 quarterbacks to toss things to him. I just like that so much more than every single news that's come out of Dallas this whole entire summer. Feels like a distraction that is just going to implode any minute now. So I got the Giants 3. I think this is done in Dallas. I think this is going to be scrapping everything, and they're going to end up without Micah Parsons. They're probably going to try to move somebody next, and this is in a bad place. I don't see this team hitting the over last year. They oddly overachieved last year, and they still finished 3rd in this division because Jaden McDaniels is amazing. I don't think their coaching's better. I don't think George Pickens is suddenly this massive addition, and I don't trust Dak. So you think all of that is still going to amount to better than whatever the Giants do?
Oh yeah, dude.
Damn, man.
Dude,
all right.
They're going to be throwing Russell Wilson out there or Jameis Winston.
Yeah, for a little bit.
I mean, I don't think these guys are really way behind Dak Prescott or anything, but it has nothing to do. I think that the Cowboys are going to be below average. I think the Giants are going to be bad. They're going to be they're not tanking. I think this might be it for Dayball. So I think he's going to try the best he can, but I just don't think that they have the weapons to make anything happen. And so Dallas is for sure going to have a unsuccessful season, but the Giants are just going to be, you're going to look up and be thinking, okay, so they're in the mix for the number 1 pick.
Their schedule's very hard. On the win projections for every team, the Giants are facing the toughest schedule this year. So that's tough going in. But like I said, I think bringing back Dayball for another year, I know suddenly he's on the hot seat, but how can you rebuild if he was supposed to do what the Commanders did? He was supposed to make the playoffs last year, Dayball. What was the leap that this team was supposed to make? I think if anything, the over on 5.5 is a safe bet for this team. This team's not worse than 5 wins. I think they can get 6 wins. I really do. Especially because they get to play these other teams, and specifically Dallas twice. This is a better vibe test for me that is just going to amount to a better over. Dallas is at 7.5. You have them over under.
Oh, I saw 8.5. So I had them under 8.5.
Would you have them over under 7.5?
Over. Right at 8.
No, I took the under. I think this is going to be the team that is oddly going to be going for a number 1 pick, and then they're going to take a quarterback, and then Dak is going to be in a weird spot, and that's Dallas's future. And it's all of their own doing.
What's up with Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons? Parsons has got the podcast, so I think he's a little more out there than you're just your average defender. He's been a good defender. This is not the first time that Jerry Jones has made stuff public. I think I don't know if it was last year or the year before. It was right before the season started. Maybe it was during the Hall of Fame game or right before it that Dak's extension got announced. It's he very much wants to be in the news, but I mean, we're even hearing from other guys on the team that are not even talking anonymously or posting written down of hey, just pay him what he's owed. It just I get wanting to be in the news, but it just doesn't feel good.
That's why I have him last. I don't know how you could play this game with Micah Parsons. I mean, first of all, I think he's very good. Do you think he's good? Do you think he's got a future?
Yes.
There's years left. This is a valuable player in the NFL.
Yeah, and for sure, I totally get it from you got both sides. Both sides are trying to negotiate, but this seems like it's just getting very messy in public, and that's why Parsons, where McLaurin requested a trade, Parsons has demanded. And maybe we're playing, just messing around with semantics here, but it just feels much more personal and just grosser.
Who's done more for the Dallas Cowboys? Their owner, Jerry Jones, or Micah Parsons?
Well, Jerry Jones. He's been the owner for
You think he's done more for Dallas? He's gotten them closer to a Super Bowl than Michael Parsons has?
He's won them Super Bowls.
Okay. What about the next one? You think Michael Parsons is going to help you or Jerry Jones?
I don't think either of them are going to get you there, but I think the owner has more ability to do it than one defensive player. Like, that's not even on Parsons. That's just, in general.
Well, it feels as if that's the war that's being waged in this franchise right now, where it's a franchise player.
You know who's going to win this every time is the billionaire owner that's owned the team forever.
I'm not even arguing for all that. I'm arguing that the owner has put himself in this situation, and now he has to flex his muscles, and ultimately he has to do that, and he's going to do that, and it doesn't make them a better team. How is that the best thing for Dallas? That's not better for Dallas.
No, I think I can't remember. It was in the past week or so. I can't remember who brought it up, but was saying something like, if you ask Jerry Jones if he would not talk to the media for the year, but they'd win the Super Bowl, do you think he would do it? And the people talking about it were like, I don't think so. Like, he likes this attention.
He's always going to like the attention. So I like, why are we still in support of this guy is what I'm really saying. I mean, there's no way they're going to get him out. There's no way he's going to sell this.
Support him. He's the owner.
If I was the fans, wouldn't you be upset by this if this was our owner for the Patriots? That Micah Parsons is being talked about like this? I mean, it's not even a negotiation. It's the humility.
This is all out in public. It's super messy.
Yeah. I don't like this. This isn't cool. This isn't how business should be done. And I don't know how it's going to end. I do know how it's going to end. They're either going to pay him or they're going to trade him. And then once he's traded, who knows what he'll be able to unleash on an open platform with a little bit more, revenge sort of energy, we'll say. So I
just can't imagine a couple of years ago when Jaylen Brown was up for his extension, and then like Wick coming out in the in the media, like not even kind of on the side, and just be like, Jalen's been hurt, in the past, and so these contracts, sometimes you pay a guy, you can get hit by a bus, and it's just like, what are you talking about?
Stop talking.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's one thing if you have these thoughts privately, or you talk to your friends about this privately, but this is public, and there's certain ways that you go about this, and it's just, I don't know. He's a billionaire owner. Not a lot of success for the Cowboys for a long time, but yeah, that's why they're third.
So
I don't see them being in the playoffs.
If you're a future free agent, and let's just say you're not as good as Micah Parsons, what is your interest in Dallas now? You're a player that's lesser than Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons can't even get treated like this. Like, what is the interest in going to this owner then? Why do we want to do business? He took care of Dak. He took care of CD. Like, that's what we like. We like offense.
I think it's warm in Dallas.
Yeah, all right.
A lot of guys are from Texas.
Big football state. No denying that. Texas likes football. Yeah, I don't know. I just think this is killing them. I think this is possibly the most valuable franchise in the NFL that this owner is devaluing by opening his mouth every day. And there's nothing, he earned every right to that. He could sink this ship as deep as he can, but I think that's what he's doing right now, and that's why I got him fourth. The Giants will have a better record than the Cowboys this year. It won't be pretty, but it's going to be like 6 wins over 5 wins. I think Dallas will have 5 wins. Who you got for fantasy on either of these teams?
So for Dallas, I have Dak at 105 as underrated. Like we just mentioned with Jaden at 30, it's just 70 plus spots later. I think you could get some value there. That's coming in. I believe that's QB 13. So maybe a 2 quarterback league, or maybe if you're looking for a backup. And then for the Giants, Cam Scatterbo at 95. I was actually very surprised that he was in the top 100. You might remember from the football playoffs, Scatterbo just doing a little bit of everything. Awesome name, fun to say, but at 95, way too high. On this awful Giants team, nope, I'm staying away. Overrated.
Any interest in Malik Neighbors? Sheer volume, just pure volume. Pure volume of guys that love throwing the deep ball between Jameis, Russell Wilson. They're not in any game. At the end of every game, they're just going to be chucking Hail Marys to try to get back in the game. Like, you don't want this? This is the one where you're crying the entire game, and then the last score comes out when he gets a garbage touchdown, and suddenly he's like, wow, we had 18 points?
It's not going to be fun. I don't want to watch the Giants. I don't want to watch both the Giants because they're the Giants, and they're going to be a terrible team. He's coming in at 9, so it's going to be a first-round pick. And right behind him, you could get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Right before him, Puka Nacua. Both, I think, would be more fun. Both are, I would just all being equal. And then even, not too far behind that and probably too high. But if you're really looking for maybe, super fun guys, you got Ashton Genty, where it's all we did at Boise. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it in the NFL. It seems like, he's going to be up there, but that seems way more fun if you're going to do all right, this is going to be a bad team, but maybe this will be awesome.
All right, let's say other drafters have the same mindset as you, where they're like, yeah, I'd rather have all these guys. How far does Malik need to fall before you're suddenly like, yeah, no, I'll pull the trigger here? Because I think if he falls like 3 more picks, or at least out of 10, I don't know, I feel better about it. Top 10, I understand. There's other first-round pick, that's fine, but I think we get to 11 and 12, and I'm not against this as much anymore. Or at least I don't know who I'd rather have over him for sure.
Who would you rather have, Malik Neighbors or A.J. Brown?
I think, what if they don't throw the ball in Philly? There was games last year. Like, I witnessed this. What if Devontae suddenly takes more? What if Saquon just goes for 400 yards in one game? Like, this is...
It's a risk.
I like the Malik is going to be getting...
What happens if Russell Wilson can't throw the ball at all?
Well, he's going to get at least a couple off. You're acting like this is going to be consistent 18 points every game. I'm talking he's going to go 1 for 18, and that 1 for 18 is going to be 90 yards and a touchdown.
I think you're better off if Jameis gets in there.
He's going to. You don't think he's going to? Everyone's going to get their shot in this. That's why I think Neighbors is just going to get juiced up by every single guy that comes in is like, all right, if I want this job, I got to throw it to Neighbors and keep Neighbors happy. And I think all 3 guys that potentially could play for quarterback for the Giants this year are just going to be chucking it to Neighbors. There's no other backup. There's nothing else. That's the only job this whole year. If Daboll wants to keep his job, it's just get it to Neighbors, and maybe we'll win a game. All right. What about Dallas?
I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
What about Dallas? We like anyone there? Any interest in Pickens? Anyone?
Oh, I mean, CD. I'd take CD.
All right. Is that it for the NFC East?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the AFC. A little spicy division. This was a traumatic season for a lot of teams outside of Buffalo. Actually, maybe even Buffalo too. I'd say everyone in the AFC East has gone through some stuff between last year and this year. Buffalo being so close once again, it leaves you thinking maybe this window is closed, that maybe they need to, reload or fix something. I don't think they need to do anything. They just bring it all back, which is kind of what they did. Maybe the O-line's back, perhaps James Cook's back, and Josh Allen's still on your team. And you look at all the other quarterbacks in this division, you're like, you know what? I'm so glad we have Josh Allen, and I think it's good enough to win this division. The over-under is 11.5.
Is James Cook still on the team? He's holding in right now.
I have no idea. I said assume.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fair.
Over-under is 11.5. You were down on Philly. Are you going to be down on Buffalo too? I assumed you have them winning, or did you go wild card? I mean, I'm sorry. I assumed that Buffalo was going to win this division. Let me ask you, who do you think is going to win this division?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Buffalo will win this division.
Let's make sure I'm dealing with a sane person right now, because I was going to let you roll a little bit. All right, you can walk the plank, and I will just step away. I'm finishing first. Do you think Buffalo should actually be scared of anyone in this division, or this is just business as usual? I know all the playoff drama, but we'll worry about that when we get there. But we got the division.
Yeah, they're very much in the driver's seat. If this is close at all, that something went terribly wrong for them.
Yeah, I don't feel like this window is closed at all. The more interesting thing is how you think the rest of the AFC is going to play out. But before we get to that, who do we like fantasy wise on Buffalo?
It's who I don't like.
Ooh.
James Cook, 33, overrated. He's holding in right now. It's probably more anecdotal, but it just seems like when somebody's holding, when there's like contracts issues, like you're not focused on football right now. Even though he's holding in, so he's going to practice, he's doing that, but I guess he's not all the way going to play. But it feels like it never really works out. It takes a little longer for it to get into the swing of things. So just 33 is too high for me.
He could drop a lot.
And this one is obviously dependent on how long the negotiating goes for.
I like Keon Coleman. I just think he's good. I think he'll finally get a little bit more shine this year. I'm not as in on Shakir. It depends where you get him. I don't know. I guess there's not really an argument against him. I just like Coleman more, and I think eventually he'll get more. All right, who we got finishing second here? AFC East.
Number 2. I have the New England Patriots at number 2.
You want to know what's true? So do I. I did it. I put them at 2 also. All right. I don't know if Vrabel's playing.
For the Bills. What was your over under for the Bills at 11.5?
Over.
Big time over?
Big over. I mean, they get to play Miami, the Jets, and New England twice. Like how Like, what's the scenario they go 500 there? Like, they're not. They're going to win most of those. I think New England will maybe give them a tough matchup here or there, but do you think the Jets in Miami have any chance against Buffalo? Like, even if everything goes right
There's
for
always
them.
wonky things that happen in division, especially with the Bills. Like depending on what time of year it is, happen to go down to Miami and it's crazy hot. It's like weird stuff happens all the time.
Maybe. I don't think there's anyone they should be scared of in this division. Their fears are in the playoffs, and it's a man in red, and they'll deal with that when they get to that. The good thing is that guy's not in the division. Don't need to worry about Mahomes now, all right? They'll worry about him later.
Santa Claus?
Yeah. Don't worry about that later. Drake May season 2. I talked about hangovers. You got high expectations for this one because you have them over 7.5 wins. How many wins are we getting?
Oh, I had it at 8.5. I got it over 8.5 wins.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done that. I would have went under 8.5. I think we're gonna have 8 wins. I mean, 4-13 last year to 8 wins the next year.
6 one-score games.
Well,
for sure, you don't win all of those. Not how it works, but
do you think we're going to be
having a competent coach is going to go such a long way. I think Drake in his second season just getting more comfortable, and this is where we really find out. This is where not too long ago you find out. Ooh, this quarterback is not the guy. So I'm hoping that it continues and he continues to improve. But I think that we got him some more weapons, and I'm really banking on Vrabel being legit. And just last year, it was just not the right coach.
If we only have 8 wins this year, are you going to question Drake May and Vrabel? Because I'm telling you that's what should be a good thing this year. That's the step we should take. It's 8 wins, and if we don't get that, I'm not going to be crazy because I think Drake May is the guy. I do. I think he's going to be fine. I think Vrabel's the guy. This just isn't the year. Like, this team is not ready to roll. I know we got Josh McDaniels back. We'll see how that plays out.
I'm looking for a 500 record.
I think we'll be in the window of that. I didn't feel that as much earlier. I know all offseason I did that, but then once I started looking at Miami and I started looking at the Jets, and I was like, I like Vrabel, and whatever Drake May's season 2 hangover is going to be better than whatever those 2 other teams are doing. I'm not as high on Diggs, though. I know this is supposed to be our weapon. We're taking care of Drake and all that, and I'm happy for it, but I don't know if he's just suddenly going to be magic in this offense. I think he'll be like a huge addition. Like, it's going to help, but we're not like suddenly a good offense now. Like, do you think we're an offensive team or a defensive team?
I think we're still going to be a defensive team, but I think that just having a guy like Diggs in the room, I think helps. I mean, just look at the receivers that we've had, not even just with Drake, just previously. And for sure, Diggs is a little bit older, 31, coming off of an ACL injury. He's not going to be the same guy he was in Buffalo. Like, I'm fine with that. But I just think you have that sort of weapon. He can bring something that we haven't had before.
We haven't had it before. So I'm glad we pulled the trigger.
Or just haven't had in a very, very long time, in recent memory.
As far as my memory is concerned, we've never had it before. Like, that's that you got to go that far back. We haven't had it before, right? It's been a while. I'm gonna act like I haven't been spoiled my whole life, but this is this has not been good. But it should be a little bit more fun this year. The unfortunate part is these other teams we have to talk about. You got anything else for New England? We're doing fantasy with them.
I think that Drake is underrated. He's at 121. I think that he runs a lot. I think that'll juice the stats.
Yeah, I think you might.
But 121 and a quarterback, you're.
Yeah, are you really giving fantasy advice there? That's like play a slot machine.
So I had to find something.
I had the same thing. I didn't have anything else. I think there'll be bye weeks where you'll be happy you had Drake May. Is probably more likely the outcome here, where you're like, I don't want to start him every week, but this week, yeah, I'll take him for that.
It's got to line up correct for you, but I really think it's going to be the running.
All right, Zach, 2 teams left here. Miami Dolphins, New York Jets. Miami's over-under is 8.5. The Jets' over-under is 5.5. Did you get those numbers too? Because I feel like we've been mismatching it. Is that what you got?
For the Dolphins, I had 7.5. For the Jets, I had 5.5.
Okay. So who you got finishing third?
Third, I have the Dolphins.
Me too. It seems like everyone has question marks for all of this. It's like Tua, and then it's like Tua or who? Who are the other guys you got going on over here? And it's like Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. And damn, it's like, did we not have an off season? Like, we didn't want to make a better backup plan. This is another weird situation where they had to be careful of the backup they brought in, because I think if they brought in somebody who was questionably better than Tua, we would just have that the whole season. But I ask you, do you trust Tua to even finish this whole season?
No.
All right, so
no.
At some point we're going to play the backup. Why didn't we do better than that is what I'm asking.
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I don't really know what their real options were, but you're exactly right of trying to balance that out. But out of any team that I feel like needs to go in with a ready to go backup, it seems like it's Miami, and doesn't really seem like they did it.
Strange additions this year. Darren Waller's back. How'd they pull that off? And do you think he actually has any value left? Like, I had high hopes for him once upon a time, but once upon a time was a long time ago, and there was plenty of time where he really wasn't that great.
Yeah, it doesn't really move the needle for me.
No, not really much of an addition.
No.
What about the Tyreek Hill? Let's say drama off the field and on the field a little bit here. Are we worried about him at all?
Oh, big time. I mean, he retracted it, but at the end of the year last year, it said, "I'm out of here." So clearly was not happy. Again, retracted it. He's on the team. He's going to play, but football is a lot different from basketball. You can go out and play basketball kind of half there, and you're not going to be very good, but you can kind of half do it. In football, you can't just half do it. That's how you get hurt. And I'm sure that was a while ago. It was right after a disappointing season. So maybe his head is totally in a different spot. But I just have to imagine it's still a little bit of that has got to be in there.
So despite me having this team as third with as well, I have the under on them. I don't think they're going to be that good. I actually think every single player on this team is a red flag for fantasy. Like, just don't. Like, I mean, some of these you might have to if they just drop and is the best player on the board, but I don't think I'm targeting a single one of these players on either of these next two teams. Like, is there anyone that you're like, yeah, I can't wait to have him on my team?
Sort of. I just said get all of the running backs because it seems like the past years they've just been awesome, and you're not sure exactly which one it's going to be. So I just said get all of them. I don't want any of the wide receivers because depending on who's the quarterback, it seems like they're all over the place. When Tua was playing, Waddle was good. When Tua wasn't playing, Waddle was gone. He was on a different planet.
Yeah, I don't trust this team. And the sad part about all this is, again, Mike McDaniels is now on the hot seat, and I think they're just better off keeping him and trying a new quarterback, which is not what they're going to do. They'll move Tua next year or figure out something else, and they'll fire Mike McDaniels this year and then start over with the new guy, which is the opposite of what they should be doing. I hope he keeps his job. I imagine he is on the hot seat and that Tua's going to let him down this year. He's going to lose his job because of it. He's
definitely on the hot seat.
He's going to lose his job this year because of Tua. Or, I mean, you could blame other things, but maybe he should push for other stuff, but he's going to lose his job this year. I don't think third place is going to get it done to keep his job here. I don't think under 8.5, 7.5 wins.
What month?
I don't know. I didn't look at their schedule. I'd have to look at the schedule, but it's probably once Tyreek, holds out after week 3 or something. I don't know. Something silly will happen, or Darren Waller will retire again. Something will come back out of all this that'll just be like, maybe he might even just quit and be one out at this point. I don't know. I'll say week 8. I say midseason.
Okay.
Whatever their bye week is, maybe even
right around Halloween.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. I think he's a good. I think he's a good coach too. He saved Tua and then Tua ruined him. It's a weird relationship. Not nearly as weird as what's going on with the Jets here, though, where they have a new era. Zach, we have rebranded. We got a new coach. We got a new quarterback. All that stuff in the last past is nothing important. So we're projected for 5.5 wins this year. Jesus, how did it fall so bad? I don't think they're that bad. Do you think they're worse than 5.5 wins?
Yes.
You do? Oh man, I don't think it's that bad. I think Fields will scramble out and just get you a couple of wins here and there. I mean, he got Pittsburgh 5 wins last year.
Because he did that so well in Chicago.
I think they got at least 5 wins that year too, didn't they? I feel like he's a 5-win guy. So you're asking for 5.5.
The over/under is 5.5. The 5 is an under.
I'm just gonna put it out there that I think the backup's good for at least one scrappy win. All right, with the new quarterback comes in. All right, the new blood, no film on him, and there's another win that you get over 5.5. This team is a little bit more ready to go last year, and I thought Rodgers was really the thing holding them back. I mean, you don't like Garrett Wilson. We don't like Breece Hall. This defense wasn't complete trash. They're still in this division that, outside of Buffalo, doesn't really have a sophisticated offense. I think
that Aaron Rodgers was the problem. I think that you're blinded by your bias and thinking that Justin Fields is going to be better than Aaron Rodgers was last year.
I don't know if Fields got 5 wins last year. Fields is
just like he has a couple of fun moments, and he runs as a quarterback. So in fantasy, you think about him in a more positive light than as an actual NFL quarterback.
I don't know if it's possible, but I got Miami and the Jets both at 6 wins. It doesn't seem possible. One of them's probably going to be terrible. But I think the over for the Jets is fine because I think they're going to have a better coach this year, too. I think their quarterback is at least going to play more games. And Fields will have some wacky stuff. I mean, we've all seen it happen before where he just steals a game. I don't think you can count on your franchise having a quarterback that's like robbing single games.
I don't think that we've seen this.
You don't think he stole 5 games last year? I mean, he won 5 games for the Steelers last year. They started out like 5-1 or something, I think. And then they still switched to Russell, though. This is the real story, is that they, even with the 5 wins, they still switched to Russell Wilson the second he was healthy.
The Steelers' infrastructure is totally different from the Jets' infrastructure. I think that there's just going to be constantly back and forth New York newspapers just on how bad their football teams are. And it's not going to take long before that it's just going to go to the back page and they're just going to start talking about Jalen Brunson as much as possible.
It's just cheap shots if you're throwing at it. All right. Fields is not a throwing quarterback. All right. So if we're going to suddenly rag on him for not being able to throw the ball, which I understand is an important part of the quarterback position.
That's it's kind of important for the.
What I mean, what are we doing here? It's like you ordered something on the menu and you wanted it to be something else. It's like, well, then don't order the menu. Like, just get something else. Like, I don't want to then trash him for not being able to throw the ball very well.
Well, that's how you end up with under 5.5 wins.
All right. I just think there's a loose wild card in all of this. And I also think he has some fantasy value early on in the season here. I would not want to have him going into the playoffs. I can't imagine being trusting into that. But I think early on in these first couple of weeks here, you're going to see some big games while he's healthy. Lots of running, lots of scrambling, lots of interceptions. So if you're in one of those leagues, be very careful. But you're going to see a desperate
ESPN has got him at 106, right behind. There's like a little run of quarterbacks here. It's got Caleb Williams, Josh Herbert, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields.
Oh, man, I think I'd rather have Dak. I mean, I'm so down on Dallas, and I think I'd still rather have Dak there.
All of your Malik Neighbors stuff, it's just like, well, you have CeeDee Lamb. Like, it seems like it would go hand in hand.
Yeah. I just think that it feels like there's a trend in Dallas where eventually this just blows up, and we're at that point. And they tried to do it with the coach thing, which was another weird thing of why they went about that and the timing of all of that. It's again not being run very well. So why are we expecting more wins? You want to rag on the Jets? I don't think that one's being run very well either. All right, anything else for the NFL? I mean, did you actually want to talk any fantasy on the Jets here? We said no to anybody, right? We don't want any of this.
No, I said the Breece Hall at 44 was underrated. I think he's a good running back. If the offense can just be like passable, I think he can be better than 44.
All right. Well, that is our NFC AFC East predictions for this year. There was some news this week that ESPN is going to be taking over NFL Network and NFL RedZone. They apparently, despite the NFL making money in every way possible, their production was not making money over there. Enough where they were like, ESPN, do you want to take this over and we'll just essentially lease it to you and make money that way? It's a good partnership. It's not really a sale. I'm already worried about this, though, because this is going to get packaged in with whatever ESPN's new streaming app is going to be, which will include live ESPN channels and possibly other affiliates as well. It'll now have these channels as well. It'll be $30 a month is the projected price for all this. So I guess in theory, if you wanted to just add NFL RedZone, you could do that through $30 a month now. And that's kind of less than, I guess, doing any other way. Because I think with YouTube TV, you got to do the $70, $80 a month plus the subscription for NFL. So then I guess that's one way to do it. Is that who this is for? Like, I'm more terrified that this is just going to get us more ads and worse announcers, and that Stephen A. Smith is going to be on RedZone every Sunday now, and it's going to not be a better program.
Why would they destroy something that's working? I could see overcharging for it, but it works. And even the NFL was toying around with ads last year, and no one was pleased about it, but they got us. It's the NFL. It's like one of their prized possessions here. And even if they start doing goofy ads, picture in picture, we're going to keep watching it. And we're just going to talk about the days where it used to be the best. But we're still going to do it. We're still going to pay for it. I don't know what and I don't even know if it's been like announced officially. I mean, it's going to happen, but should we be getting too concerned before we even, hear like the details of it?
I'm more worried that I feel like these channels were they've always been behind a paywall, but I feel like early on it was really hard to get NFL Network and NFL RedZone, and that got easier over the years. And if that continues to be easier, I will have no problem with it. But if this is suddenly a harder thing to then acquire or a rare, you only can get it over here sort of situation, I just don't need another one of those from the NFL. I mean, we've already got Prime on Thursday. That's on Amazon. We've got the exclusive Peacock game at least one Sunday night. You've got now NFL RedZone. If you want that, you got to get it through here. I don't need another one of those things is my biggest concern of it all. So, like, I'm just an old man complaining about change, and maybe nothing's actually changed, but I just don't trust ESPN to take care of this property at all. And maybe the NFL
But
tried to hold
why
off.
did you trust the NFL, but you don't trust ESPN? I guess there's been issues with ESPN Plus for sure, but like overall, I just don't know if I'm trying to think of a comparison, but it doesn't seem like they're a company that just immediately it's like, oh no, this is just going to go to hell immediately.
If you're other leagues, I think you should be a little worried too. This is like a direct partnership where I know the NFL's been printing money for them and each other, vice versa, but this is a lot more control than the NBA is getting out on this. This is a lot more promotion now for not only the sport, but to watch it on their own channel, which is, again, if they've always been doing, but it's just another thing in their pocket to advertise for. I get why they did it. I don't have the direction of it. Maybe nothing will change. All right. Anything else?
Obviously it's going to change. I just don't know if we should be so concerned that it's immediately going to be worse. So I'm not going to be staying up late at night, worrying about this until there's something to worry about.
Well, when they don't want to pay Scott Hansen in a year, that's going to be where the budget cuts start coming in too for ESPN, because it's not like they're exactly thriving in all of this perfectly either. Their studio shows have just as much problems. They just can cover for it because that's what they're doing full time. The NFL, it's like Netflix doing a production. It's like they do different things.
Didn't Hansen just resign?
I assume so. Yes. I don't
remember
know.
There was talk. I feel like there was talk earlier. Was it in the summer or maybe it was in the spring about wasn't sure if he was going to come back, and I think it was negotiating tactics. But I would assume if that was going on, that it's not. Oh, he's going to get into the end of his deal. I was thinking he'd be at the beginning of his deal.
I'm not sure what to expect out of it. All right, let's talk NBA. Specifically, NBA contract extensions. We've got De'Aaron Fox and we got Luka Doncic. Which one was the more alarming one?
De'Aaron Fox. I don't like it for the Spurs. I sort of get why they did it, but with the new rules, with the second apron, you can only really afford, maybe two of these max deals. I mean, we're seeing it with the Celtics. It's like we can have Tatum and Jalen, and then there's barely any room for anything else. Even the guys, we have the bird rights. It's like we've had to throw, it's a blimp where we're just throwing stuff off just for financial reasons, not for basketball reasons, just for financial reasons. And so I thought teams going forward were going to look a lot closer at these max deals and say, okay, we can't afford to just give max deals to anybody. Before this, a couple of years ago, this makes perfect sense. Nope, you got a guy, you got to pay him, boom. But I thought they were going to negotiate a little tougher on these and say, all right, you don't get the max. De'Aaron, you're an excellent player. You're, future All-Star. You're going to be paired up with Wemby. But I don't know, man. I just think that they're going to find themselves in the not too distant future that they're going to be in a money problem, and it can only be the top guys that get these max contracts.
It's not an easy contract to move. I think that's the hardest part about all this, especially if they end up going over the cap, which I don't think they are right now, the apron or whatever. They're not in jeopardy of not being able, because once you go over, it's really hard to move anybody, So I guess in theory they're okay until that happens, but is that not the direction that they want this team to go? Are we eventually going to be over the apron because we've drafted well, which is the other weird part of all this. They've drafted his replacement already this year. It's going to be a couple years before he's up for a contract, but when they do look to move him, is it not just that we have Ace Bailey over here, or who's the guy, UConn guy from last year they got, right? Blanking on his name. Anyways, they got other guards that are Castle that are supposedly on track to play well. And I'm not saying that it's a weird win now thing where it feels like this team is trying to do things over the next 10 years, and this is going to be a weird obstacle over the next 3 years if it doesn't work. Or they could have not done this and maybe been better off. But I think
I'm not saying. I mean, they had him for this year. I'm just saying, and I'm going to be interested to see how it goes forward. But just these guys that are really good, but not a Luka, not in the MVP discussion, they don't get the max deal. And I'm wondering if they're going to change, because you can get the super max if you're on the third team. There's a couple of spots that you can hit, but the way that it's working, I wonder if they're going to change it and say, hey, you got to be first or second team. Like if you're third team, maybe there's a different level, but you don't get the super max. You're able to get somewhere in between. Just try to help these teams out, because these teams are getting punished for their guys playing well.
Well, it is why I brought up the Luka extension. Is that it's completely backwards, as you said, where Boston is essentially being punished for home-growing their own max players, and the Lakers are being rewarded for trading for a max player that, because he was traded for in Luka, he's not eligible for the max contract. So now they get Luka for the next 3 years under an incredible contract for his stature. If you look at other guys making his money, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe Luka's doing that. You look at guys making more than Luka, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe they're getting him on this deal. It's just another win for the Lakers, and it is a backwards thing that the league has to deal with. You shouldn't get a better deal by trading for the guy, right? You should get a better deal for keeping the guy, like the Celtics did. And we wouldn't be in this situation if we could have Jalen or Tatum under the contract that Luka's under right now, and not the crazy supermax. We wouldn't be doing the moves we're doing.
They made and this is where we're dealing with rules that were made under the old system, and so now the system is different. So now these rules, like they haven't changed them to make this work together. Like the whole idea was, all right, we want guys to stay on their original team, so we want to give the team an advantage. Okay, you can sign bigger extensions. There's wickets you have to go through so they can get it. And so it has worked out where guys stay, or more likely is they stay, they sign this contract, and then they demand the trade, or then they get moved later on, because then you're getting the max amount. But it does incentivize you to draft well, but then trade those guys before they get to like their prime for established, like somebody like Luka, which it's hard to do. Everyone's still looking at at Nico Harrison going, what are you doing? And yeah, Lakers were able to get him for cheap, and now they're able to sign him for cheap cheaper.
It just seems backwards to me that the Lakers and Luka were able to get Luka at a deal that no one else would have gotten. He would have never signed this deal for Dallas. Like if he was drafted by any of these other teams, he wouldn't have taken the deal he just signed with the Lakers. It's because he got traded. He had to.
This is the most that they can offer him.
That's not right. That's just, there's got to be a better math in all this. That just doesn't seem like that's a huge advantage. I don't like it. All right. Anything else here? I don't want to get you crazy about the Lakers right now. Drake May. May. It's gonna be all right. It'll be a rough Celtics year. All right. The NCAA will not expand the tournament, at least not yet. How many years before we get more teams in here, Zach? What do we got? 68 right now?
I just think that they didn't get their act together. In the spring, it really seemed like immediately it was going to be going to 72 or 76. You nailed it. This is a not yet. So I just think they're retreating for this year to just figure out how they're going to market this a little bit better, and they're going to tell us how great it is. And yeah, I would put. I feel very confident that they're going to expand it by 2027.
How many? Get like 4 more, 8 more, a whole round more of preliminary games.
Not a whole round more. I'm wondering if, maybe 8. Because then you'd have 4 more games, so then you could go 2-2 again on Tuesday and Wednesday before the main part of the tournament starts, and you just have more stuff on.
So are we actually expanding the bracket, or are we just doing more preliminaries where to be the 8 seed, it's 2 teams not going to play each other? It's more like that stuff,
that
right?
One.
Yeah, all right.
That one. It'll be more you can think of them as playing games.
Yeah, well, the momentum of those playing games, I guess, is exciting. This is not helping the regular season, which just feels longer and longer the more you add tournament teams. There'll be
it's almost like the RedZone thing. If I get you're in charge, you're trying to make this better, but we have a product that is awesome and it works, and you start fiddling with it. And any of the complaints from coaches that it's not fair to these teams or this team. No, it's fair to all of the teams. We don't need more play-in games because there's conference tournaments for every league, and if you win that league, that is the play-in that you get an automatic bid. Like this already is set up in a way that works.
All right, let me ask you
If you
this.
couldn't win your tournament, you don't deserve to be in.
They want more games, right? They want to make more money to have more
Yeah.
games.
Yep.
Why do we want more games with worse teams? Why don't we make the Final Four a best of 3 series? Why don't we get more games out of better games with better teams? More games with better
I
teams. What's wrong with that?
That is the best idea I've heard in a long time. I don't know how you deal with it like logistically, but that seems like something that should be doable.
And it would be better paying for it too. You're going to charge more money to see these other teams. I mean, there'll be some school somewhere that was never going to get into the tournament that miraculously will get in now, and that'll be a celebration for them. That if you could, that's an incredible gift. Like I get that, but if I'm a fan outside looking in, that's not my school, that's not my team. I'd rather see the real guys play more than once. I'd rather see what coaches can actually make adjustments from the night before to the next night. I'd rather see what teams are in shape that are able to play 2 nights in a row, or however, because you're going to have to jam these in somehow. We don't just take up more time. Like they just want to have more games on at once. That's the other problem with all this is why do we want more games on at once? How am I supposed to be able to watch all of this? I mean, I know we're the crazy psychos playing 4 games at once, but we want more of that. And the prelims play at the same time. They're not staggered. If we're going to do this, it can be staggered. Like there's a lot of problems with all this that they're not going to do. And you know it's coming this way. It's not going to be the way we want it, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It seems like it's the people in charge that are pushing for it, but anyone that is a fan, I feel like I hadn't seen anybody in the media that has said, "Yeah, we should definitely do this." It's like been all like, please don't do this.
Yeah, it's just going to make the brackets more sloppy too. There'll be a whole week of games now that don't even affect the bracket, and be like, wait a minute, I need to fill this out anymore because the game's already started. It's like, no, those games don't. I don't even need to explain it. All right, let's do a little TV recap here, or movies in Hollywood, I guess, in some form or another. You went to see F1. Yeah,
I
you're
did.
big boy. Went to the theaters and all. Didn't stay home and wait for the streaming.
I didn't stay home and wait for the streaming. It's a movie, similar to Top Gun 2, where that one is jets. This one is F1 cars. So I wanted to do it in the theater. I wanted the sweet sound system, and that part of it did not disappoint. You're sitting there, and the seat is vibrating from the sound. That was very cool.
I haven't seen it. I will see it, but I am gonna wait to see it at home. I got a bit of a different home setup here though.
You have a great setup for it. My non kind of spoiler review of it is, if you go in as just a fan of movies of Brad Pitt, you'll have a pretty good time. It is a Hollywood movie, all the fixings of it. If you like racing, that's for sure going to help. But if you are not plugged into the F1 scene, like there's an aspect of it that you are just going to be missing out on. It is very cool. I mean, it's called the F1 movie. It's not called, the racing movie. They use all of the actual drivers. They use all of the actual teams. It's not made, I mean, except for the Hollywood team. Like all these teams are very real, where they're using the real announcers. So it would be like if you were watching a basketball movie and, beforehand, before, the event's going on, and they show like Shaq, on the sideline, immediately, like, oh, that's Shaq. And when they're mentioning in the game and they're talking about, De'Aaron Fox, and they're mentioning, Peyton Pritchard and all these guys, you know all these guys, where if you're not into F1, they're just names to you, and you're not going to pick up on kind of all the Easter eggs. So that was very cool as a new casual F1 fan of going through it and just being like, oh, that's that guy. That's that. Oh, yep. No, I know who that is. Oh, yep. That's team principal right there. That makes sense. And just some of the ins and outs. But it was fun. It's always fun to go to the movies.
It's probably adds more if you do know the ins and outs. So I imagine you benefited from already being a fan of all this. But I'll ask you, if you weren't, do you think this movie could have made you a fan if you weren't already?
I think so. I mean, it would be similar to watching, back in the day, one of the Rocky movies, or, now watching one of the Creed movies, where it's a movie. There's a lot of things that you watch as a fan, and it's like, this is ridiculous. Almost like watching Semi-Pro, where they start doing the alley-oop. It's like, oh man, they've never seen this before. Like there's kind of some of that of either like, hey, this just isn't legal. Like you just can't do that. Or it just like, this wouldn't work in the real world, but it's a movie. Like it's supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be part of that. So I could definitely see watching it, and, maybe don't become a fan immediately, but watching the movie, just showing you like that it's accessible. And then you kind of make the next step of, hey, let me check this out. Let me check this sport out. I don't know anything about it. And I think that if it would lead you to watch Drive to Survive, then that would be a natural progression, I would think.
I wonder if there was a spike in Drive to Survive now that, F1's kind of out. If that was.
I would think so. I don't know if it would be as much of a spike as it was kind of in the beginning or maybe during COVID. But like I said, they used all of the F1. I mean, the races that they went to, those are real racetracks that they did. And the driving scenes were just amazing. They used the same camera angles. Sometimes you watch a basketball movie and they don't use like the same camera angles and you just like, no, like this doesn't feel right. Like a lot of the camera angles. I mean, they used like some other ones, some cinematic ones, but there was still a lot of like, I knew where I was. Like it felt like a real broadcast.
Yeah, no, you don't want it to feel like there's a guy on skates, going up and down the basketball court. You want just the camera to slightly go one way and slightly the other. Maybe you can have some, baseline direct kind of face shots and things like that. But it needs to still feel like
for sure, it's way harder for basketball football's a little bit easier, but like basketball, you can see their faces.
Yeah.
And like basketball players are huge, where with a car, it's like, you don't see the guys' faces necessarily. Like they're in a car, and you can, the quick shots. You're able to, make it work a little bit better. Or you're just filming probably actual racing scenes mixed in with it, so it just like it all does fit.
Did they succeed in making it feel fast? Like, did you feel fast in the movie? Yeah, it was cool.
Oh yeah.
All right,
definitely.
All right, yeah, I'm a little bit more sold on it. It sounds like I should probably watch Drive Survive before I get into this. So I'm gonna wait for streaming. I've got, I don't know, probably at least 3 months before that hits. I don't even know.
I would recommend Drive to Survive. If you were short on time, there's 7 seasons of Drive to Survive. They're 10 episodes apiece. I think the earlier ones were closer to 30 minutes long. I think the later ones could kind of drift. I think maybe 40, maybe 45. Like they kind of vary a little bit. So if you're kind of crunched for time, at least watch the last season, if not the last 2 seasons. And that'll at least get you in the mix, and then I think you'd appreciate the movie more.
Yeah, we'll get to it. King of the Hill's back. I know you had a little bit about that. Complete reboot. And we're just we got everyone back, right? The whole gang's back.
I assume so. It just came out today. Last season ended in 2010, so kind of assumed it was over, but they decided, hey, we're gonna bring it back. So 15 years later, so I'll be watching it. And with it being a cartoon, like they're basically gonna look the same. Probably a little easier to make now with the technology. But yeah, question for you: did you have any show that ended 15 years ago you'd like for them to bring back?
No, I just wrote down a Mad Men plot of how to bring them all back.
Okay.
All right, Don's now in L.A. and he's working on a Hollywood production. And I just wrote quote unquote because he knows the director. She's a very helpful person. And now Don's making the consulting things over there. We'll tune into Peggy, who's like running some huge marketing firm. We'll have Joan, who's in charge of some miraculous casting. They're all in probably different locations. Their paths will cross in some short forms of another. But it's Don in the 80s trying to hide from his past, continuing and delving into Hollywood that's got far less paperwork. I don't know.
Is it a show or a movie?
I think it's a show, but ultimately, I think if I ever actually wanted this to truly happen, I think it's a movie. I don't think they're going to bring back a whole show. I don't think you'll ever get anyone to agree to do the whole show again. And by the time they are willing to agree to it, we probably won't want it. So maybe a movie. But
yeah, it's a lot easier to do with a cartoon.
Yeah, no, I think that is good. I like King of the Hill, but I unfortunately it's always just fallen into the I can't find anything else to watch on cable. I'm just going to throw on King of the Hill. And so I haven't really seen it religiously or watched a whole bunch of the episodes back to back. But, when I'm bored here and there, it certainly got by. I never hated the show, but it was never interesting enough to me to be like, I really want to commit to this. And there's a ton of episodes as well. It's a
lot, old school.
Very, very famous voice actors. And it seems like there's no harm in the world done that they're back. All right. Nothing was really missing, but I'm happy they're back. More comedies, right? More comedies, more laughs.
More comedies. We need more comedies.
I also want to remind everyone to subscribe. A little column A, a little column B. You can reach us on our social media and Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts. And make sure you follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
We'll be back next week with another NFL division predictions and maybe less Drake May talk. I don't know. They'll probably get some Cowboy stuff in here, too. I got a feeling that's not over with. But we'll be back with more NFL talk, Zach. Are you ready? Not ready. All right. He's done. No more outros for Zach.
column A, little column B.